It's Animal Radio, 1-866-405-8405. Bobby Hill has just informed us before she ran off to the little girl's room that Obama will not be getting his puppy until he actually gets in the White House, which will be early January.
That's a good idea.
It's a technicality, though.
It is a technicality. But you know what? He needs to decide what kind of dog would be perfect for him. And I'm hoping he's going to go the adoption way. You know, there's so much controversy, and it's so hard to believe that it's making so much news, you know, all the big mess he has to clean up that the dog is going to be. But you know what? First dogs go way back, and there's a brand new exhibit that's opening in Washington, D.C. It has a historical look at all the canine companions, and Bobby Hill will be reporting about that in just a few minutes. 18 shopping days, 15 large for me.
Ouch.
What? Is that too big?
I don't even want to think about it.
Marley and Me, of course, is being released on Christmas Day, and we'll have your passes for that. I believe we have Bob. Is it Bob on the phone? Hi, Bob. How are you doing?
Hello there. How's it going?
Good. Where are you calling from?
Calling from Tennessee.
Tennessee, and you're a driver, I take it?
Oh, yeah.
Do you drive with your animal?
No, she's at home there. I was just wanting to ask a question about some lumps that had come up on her.
Go ahead.
Hey, Dr. Debbie.
Hi there.
How you doing?
I'm doing super today. How about yourself?
That's great. I'm doing good. I just wanted to call about Angel. She's a little blue heeler.
Okay.
And she's had some lumps come up on her about a year ago. And one of them is under in her right thigh there on the inside. You can kind of roll it around in the skin there. It's kind of like a marble.
Okay, but how big is it then?
Yeah, it's about the size of a small marble.
Okay.
And there's another one. It's not in the skin. It's actually growing from the meat part of her on her chest.
Okay.
And they both come up about a year ago, and I've been concerned about them there. I don't know if I need to try to have them took off, or they're not growing or anything right now. They've been about the same size for about a year. And, of course, she's about 10 years old. She's got arthritis in her hips, too, a little bit.
Oh, golly. Everything starts to fall apart when you get old, huh?
Yeah, that's true.
And for lumps and bumps, you know, the hard thing is that sometimes by looking we get a general idea which way this might go. From what you're describing, I'm a bit hopeful, and I'd be mostly suspicious. We could be dealing with something along the lines of a fatty tumor, or what we call a lipoma. And they are very common in middle-aged to older dogs, and some of the characteristics that we can see with these types of lumps are that they are kind of what we call freely movable. So when you kind of put your fingers around it, you can kind of almost move it around like a joystick almost, and it kind of has a little bit of some movement there. And lipomas do tend to occur most commonly on like the lower half of a dog's body. So if you kind of put an imaginary line across their torso and imagine everything below that, that's where we tend to see the fatty tumors, these lipomas, appearing most commonly. So especially on the chest, if it's under her chest area when she's standing and it's facing the ground, that would be my first thought for an area like that. And, you know, there can be some cysts and other kind of tumors. So the best way to find out is to do what we call a needle biopsy. Or a fine needle aspirate. So I would see your veterinarian and have that test done, because it may help reassure you that it's just a fatty tumor and not necessarily anything bad. And if it isn't, and it shows that there's something a little unusual about that, then that'll give you that ammunition to help you decide if it's something we need to take off and get that biopsied.
Right. Is there, when they get that age, 10 years old, as far as putting them to sleep, is there any problem there? Or?
For an anesthetic procedure?
Right, for anesthetic.
For some pets, we might have a little higher concern level, and older pets kind of fit in that category. But, I put a lot of senior dogs under for anesthesia, and I'm very cautious about it. I don't do it cavalier and just jump into it. I do want to check blood tests to make sure their kidneys and their liver are working good, and, maybe even check that heart out, make sure that ticker's working well. If everything else with her general health status is good and the decision is we need to get those tumors off, then I'm all for it, because that can really be a great benefit for her long-term health if those things might play some kind of risk for her. I know a lot of people say, oh, my vet said just leave this lump alone, and I just don't fall into that category. I'd like to get them off, because there can be that potential that even a benign tumor, like a fat tumor, can make a transition into a dangerous or a cancerous one. So I'd get those checked out, and if you need to get them cut off, then let's do so. This is Dr. Debbie with Animal Radio at 1-866-405-8405.
1-866-405-8405. It's Animal Radio. Everybody's in the studio ready to go. Well, except for Vlada, who's still in the green room. Bobby compiling her news. She has news, by the way, about the Obama dog, which apparently, I guess, won't happen until January when they hit the White House.
That's right.
Gas prices, well, they're starting to go down now.
Yes, you're hearing about it all over the country. They're going down some places under $2.
Now, I know we have a lot of trucker, driver listeners. We'd love to hear from you at 1-866-405-8405. When prices go down like this means that it doesn't cost as much to get pet food to stores, and that means the prices go back to hopefully what they were prior to the amazing gas prices that we've gone through. What's it there at the corner station next to your office?
Oh, gosh, I think we're down to $2.29 as of right now, so yeah.
And that's a kind of a touristy area, so they're getting you there. What'd you say? It was $1.65 in Michigan, we found out?
$1.75 is the lowest that I've heard about so far.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Isn't that unbelievable?
So it's good news. Of course, a lot of us out of work, if you've lost your job, you're looking for a new career. Maybe you like hanging out with animals. There's a lot of careers. One of them is pet sitting. And we're going to be talking to a guy who gave up day trading as a stockbroker, day trading, which is, now it probably doesn't make a lot of money, but then it made a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Now he makes six figures doing his pet sitting business, and he gets to be with animals all the time. Of course, Christmas just around the corner. Marley and Me is going to be released on Christmas. We're going to be talking to the director of Marley and Me. Just either at the end of the show today or the beginning of the show next week. That's all on the way. What do you got coming up in the news?
Well, while the Internet has brought some wonderful progress technologically speaking, it's also brought some bad things as far as anonymity to the black market wildlife trade. We'll take a look at what's being done to stop it coming up in the news.
Right now, Vlade, the world-famous Russian dog wizard at 1-866-405-8405. Hi, who's this?
It's Jan.
Hi, Jan. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Where are you calling from today?
Well, I live in Tennessee, but I'm calling you from Nevada.
Well, I'm going to turn you over to the hands of Vlade, the world-famous Russian dog wizard. He will help you with any dog behavior problem.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Hal, for this nice introduction. He always introduced me right. If I wasn't be famous, I would not be sitting here in the studio. Okay, go ahead, Jen.
Yes, I've got two dogs, Vlade, and one of them, one's an older dog that just likes to eat and sleep, and the other one's a smaller dog that still likes to play with toys and jump around. And they've been getting in dog fights lately, quite a bit, of whoever gets to sit beside me. But I've also noticed that the larger dog is doing things to get the little dog in trouble.
So, Jen, what is your question would be?
Well, for one thing, how can I get these dogs to stop fighting? When I sit down, they both want to sit beside me, and so, it's ended up in dog fights, and I got bit.
Wow.
Trying to separate them, trying to pull them apart.
Okay, let me take a charge, and let's question answers, baby. First of all, what is the breeds?
One's a pug, and one of them is a Yorkie.
Okay.
Both female.
Yorkie. Both females and both great breeds. Okay, and over what subject are they fighting? Over you?
Over me, over toys, and I've noticed that the pug, who is a much larger dog than the Yorkie, has been doing things lately to get the little dog in trouble.
Okay, so let me tell you, the dogs fight over three things normally: human attention, over toy, and over privileges, which they might get from you or not, which is basically also related to your attention. So, first of all, you need to understand it's not about the dogs fighting, it's about your relationship toward the dogs. If the dog is consider you as a leader or alpha female in that household, you will not have a bitches fights in your household. So, in other words, you gotta be alpha female and they will relax. Watch them. If some of them start to fight, react. Use the pop can. Use maybe clap your hands. Stop them from fighting. If they don't fight, praise them. I would put one dog in the crate. I would work with another dog and do vice versa. What I'm going to work on? I'm going to work on obedience training. Let's go, sit, stay, calm down. So I'm going to establish myself as the leader with one dog at a time. And after that, I will become the leader for both of them. You think they're fighting because some of them think you are, they're protecting you, but I'm going to tell you, some of them thinking you are in their possession. By the way, can you ask me, Jen, where your pet sleeps?
Sleep. Okay, they both sleep in their own bed. But I've noticed when you're talking about the crate, the larger dog, I think she's caught on. Because when the little dog starts her barking and yapping, and at the big dog, I'll put the little Yorkie in a crate. And I've noticed here just recently that I had put her in the crate a couple of times in one day, and she would stand just in front of the big dog who was laying on her bed, content to be sleeping, and just stand there and bark at her.
Okay, my question, Jenna, my question would be, what happened with her after she barked? And if the answer is nothing happened, she will continue to bark. So if she barks, you need to correct her. Like I said, get the pop can with the pennies, and if she barks, just toss next to her as you make the sound. Ah! Just like that. Stop it. And once she stops barking, tell her, good girl. And have some type of attitude. Make my day. Go bark again.
Right. What I was getting at is that the little dog was barking at the big dog, and I had put her in her crate twice for doing so, but the third time I just kind of looked through the door, and I noticed what was going on, and this is what's got me concerned. The big dog was sitting there, and when the little dog would bark at her, the big dog would reach underneath her bed, underneath her body, and pull out a toy and dangle it at the little dog and give it a little pitch. And then when the little dog would start to hit it, the big dog would scrape it back up under her real quick. And then that was the times that I was coming in and correcting the little dog and putting her in the crate. At this point, I looked underneath the big dog, and she had all the little dog's toys underneath her and was using them as a teaser to make the little one in trouble.
Jen, you are complicated the things more than what it is. You need to break that pack. You need to establish yourself as the leader. You need to give your pets some work to do. They are bored. They are unexercised. They are looking for trouble. Don't put the pet in the crate when they are misbehaving. That's not what I'm suggesting you. I'm suggesting you to put them in the crates before just before the training. Just do the training as the part of meeting their major needs. Put both pets in the crates just because you want to. If one of them is barking in the crate, snap with your hand, reach your hand and snap one of the crate as you make the noise. Up! Startle it. They will stop. Tell them, good girls. After that, get one dog at the time out of the crate and work on obedience training, especially focusing on sit-stay. If one of the dog is barking, let's say in the crate the dog is barking, momentarily snap the crate or put the pop can with the penis in the crate with the rope attached to the pop can. Every time when the dog barks in the crate, pull the rope, that's pop can gonna smack toward the crate and make the noise to startle the barking dog. Whatever you do, but make sure you would give motivational correction for barking. And after continue work with one pet at the time, you finish it, put the dog which you was working in the crate and get another dog and work in the same way. Tired dog is the good dog, so as you work with them, they will see. You cannot do two things at once. You cannot bark and pay attention to you. So that's what my suggestion is. You have to make sure work with your pets before the problem occur. And when the problem occur, by working with the dog on obedience, you will be automatically accepted by the pets as the leader. So when the problem occur, you will startle. Your word will have a meaning. You have a very simple problem, Jen. Just start to do what I ask you to do. You will love the result. I guarantee you.
Thank you.
1-866-405-8405. It's Animal Radio, you lucky devil.
Hi, I'm Bobby Hill from Animal Radio. Are you wondering what to give the pet owner on your list? Looking for that perfect holiday gift? Give them FlexPet for their dog or cat. FlexPet works to help pets keep that spring in their step. It's the most effective and comprehensive joint formula for improved mobility. It's the only one with CM8, and it works for both cats and dogs. FlexPet has a money-back guarantee, the best one in the industry. FlexPet is so confident that you will see improvement in your pet's mobility. They offer an unconditional 3-bottle guarantee with no time limit to return the unused portion. And right now, you can buy 2 and get 1 free. Just ask about the special. Call 1-800-END-PAIN. That's 1-800-363-7246. Call FlexPet now. You won't forget the phone number. It's 1-800-END-PAIN. I'm Bobby Hill from Animal Radio, and I wouldn't tell you about it if I didn't believe in it. FlexPet. 1-800-END-PAIN.
Animal Radio is being brought to you by the American Red Cross, providing you with information and training to protect the dogs and cats you love. For more information, visit redcross.org or petcentric.com, a proud supporter of the American Red Cross.
Listen to the news.
2 dogs rescued from a locked car.
Emergencies can happen anywhere, anytime. They can even affect your
In
pets.
other news, a local policeman saved a cat today.
Being prepared and knowing what to do can be the difference between life or death for you and your pets. The same Red Cross you know and trust is the leader in pet first aid preparation and education. Look for dog or cat first aid guidebooks with DVDs online at redcrossstore.org or contact your local Red Cross chapter for more information. The Red Cross is helping protect our pets.
Hi, I'm Jay Moore, and as a sports fan, I can tell you there's nothing quite better than spending a day in the park playing catch with a beautiful lady. Like Shirley, my dog. Listen, adopt a pet. They are the most loyal companions you will ever have. Visit pets911.com or call 1-888-PETS911. Hooray!
For more information, go to pets911.com. Proud to be a partner of Animal Radio.
This portion of Animal Radio brought to you by Flexin. Eliminate joint pain from your pet's life at flexpet.com.
Celebrating our connection with our pets from all across the globe. This is Animal Radio. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
We'll have your Marley and Me passes coming up today. We'll also check and find out where Marley is and his trainer. Of course, you know, I have a hard time saying that because Marley, the original Marley, of course, is no longer with us.
Right.
But from the movie with Owen Wilson and Jennifer Aniston, Marley is traveling the country from one adoption agency to another adoption agency, promoting the movie, which, of course, opens Christmas Day.
Did you know he started the tour off at the White House?
Who, Owen Wilson or Jennifer Aniston?
Marley.
Oh, Marley.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, because of Obama picking a dog.
You know what? Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's very, very cool. Okay. Do we have photos of that? When is that happening?
No, that started the tour. That's happened already.
Okay, I want to see that. I haven't heard about that. Yeah. Speaking of which, let's go to the phones. We have Michelle Zahn on. She is works for a company called La Paz in Los Angeles, which is, you know, there's a lot of agencies, animal agencies that say they'll train your dog for TV or pictures, whatever.
The movies, a movie star dog.
But there's few that actually do that. This is one of those agencies that's hooked up with the Union 399, the big union there. Hi, Michelle, are you there?
Hey, how are you?
How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
I wanted to mention, of course, Off the Leash, which is, that airs, is that on TLC?
It used to be on Lifetime.
Okay.
We got a season out of it, and it was great, and then they went overseas with it. But we actually decided not to go on with the second season.
Oh.
Having the reality cameras in there every day can get a little stressful.
I can understand that. Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
You got it.
We always have people that call us up, and they say, my animal is very talented. And I'm sure you get these calls day in and day out.
Like 50 a day, and that's a legitimate number. We get so many calls per day.
How do you go through those calls and decide what you want to see and what happens from there?
We have a pretty strict submission policy. We don't ever take anybody's call and just bring them in for an evaluation. We have to have everybody send in a picture and a brief little bio about why the dog is so special, what the dog can do, and then of course we need to see a photo. The good news is I'd say probably 60 to 70% of our dogs are rescues. I think a lot of people have a misconception that, your dog has to be this amazing purebred to get into the industry. We're really looking for dogs that enjoy doing it. We'll get their pictures, we'll get their bio, and they might be the cutest dog in the world, but when they come here and meet with one of our studio trainers, if they're not food motivated, if they don't look like their little tails wagging and they're not getting all excited when the trainer praises them, and if they don't learn, pretty quickly, this is not the kind of dog, we want on set. It's a pet, and that's wonderful, Your dog should be a pet, but a lot of the dogs like the stimulation. They like the praise. They like the attention. They like the work. And those are the dogs that we want to work with. Okay, so 50 calls come in a day. How many do you actually see in your office before you really thin the herd there? We'll do in a week, like on a Wednesday, we'll maybe see anywhere from 5 to 10 dogs. Out of that number, how many will really push on with it? Maybe one or two. And Saturdays we'll generally see a little bit more. Obviously, it's better, to get people in on Saturdays. And we'll usually see about 20. And I'd say maybe 3 of 4 of those dogs might be really ready to go on. Now, we do have dogs that are straight to agency, meaning like these owners did something right. They worked with their dogs so well. They come in, they don't need studio training. These dogs are ready to go. And of those dogs, honestly, maybe 1 every 2 or 3 months. They're very rare and they're very hard to find.
And the real bottom line is, how much are they paid?
Well, if when we tried to get that Marley and Me contract, let me tell you, we wanted that one. If you can get a film contract and you have a dog that's a series regular, that's when you're talking about the thousands. But average day rate for a dog really is only anywhere from $350 to $500. So, is this a great side activity for your dog? Absolutely. Is it fun? My owners, will send me letters after they book something like, I can't believe my dog was a rescue and my dog was on set, and they're so emotional. None of my clients do it for the money. They do it because, oh my gosh, you have a National Blackberry commercial running and that's your dog catching the Frisbee and landing it. That's reward for them enough.
Can you mention some of the commercials that you've worked with, some of the TV shows that you've...
Absolutely. Right now we have 3 secret projects, literally. So that's exciting. So 3 secret, we do have a national Chloraseptic commercial running right now. Blackberry commercial. We just did Groomer Has It. We were just on that, and we had several dogs on that show. We did a Hellsberg Diamond commercial. The Good Life campaigns that you're seeing right now, a good percentage of those dogs are ours. So, and so on and so on.
Okay, the Union, the $3.99.
Yes.
What's that about?
Basically, the Union $3.99, you can't just say you're a studio trainer. And we don't want to work with people that aren't studio trainers because it's just definitely a safety measure. So Union $3.99 is it's a transportation union and it's a studio trainers union as well. And our trainers and the only trainers that we work with are part of this union. It's been around forever. It's been... My assessment of it is that it used to be the transportation union back in the day, and a lot of the transportation people were actually taking the dogs to set, or taking the animals to set, the horses, the birds, whatever it may be. So I believe that is how the affiliation started, which I actually find fascinating.
It is. If you don't have a straight-to-agent dog, what kind of training would they go through? And I'm bringing this up because, of course, Ladybug, the studio Chihuahua, a very talented animal.
Yes,
Judy.
I think she's ready.
What kind of course would she be up for?
It's really about distance. You've got to, we get so many people like, my dog would be perfect for print. My dog would be perfect for print. Okay, so yeah, your dog can sit on a mark for 5 seconds, and then when you run behind the camera, the dog comes and chases you. The photographer is going to flip his lid if that happens. We have to really work distance with our dogs. If your dog can't do a basic sit-stay while you're behind the camera or the trainer's behind the camera, that's not something that we're really able to work with. I don't need to see a dog climb up a ladder and, do all these fancy, schmancy things. I need the basics, but I need them from far away. That's really, a speak, the barks. Oh my gosh, if I can get a dog that can scratch on command, that's a great one. So, the sleep, the cover your face, paws over the eyes. These things are simple tricks, but again, if I'm seeing your hand in the shot, that doesn't do anything for me.
Okay,
got
so
to be distance.
Me and Ladybug have a little bit more work to do.
Well, she's young yet. Can you teach an old dog new tricks?
Teach an old dog several tricks. Some of our best dogs, my Blackberry dog, 10-year-old.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely huge misconception. If they want a treat, they're going to do it. Okay, it don't matter how old they are, they're going to do it.
What's the website?
It is LaPazAgency.com, LEPAWS agency.com.
And, of course, we'll link to everything you've heard on today's show at AnimalRadio.com. Michelle Zahn, the top dog in La Paz, joining us. Thanks so much.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a great day.
It's Animal Radio, 1-866-405-8405. I want to welcome on board Pet Food Direct, brand new sponsor. And I actually just heard their commercial. I'm going to order from them. Apparently, I went to their website, and the food that I usually get at another store, that I won't mention the name, but rhymes with Remco. It actually costs $10 more at that other store than if I order it online, and it gets delivered right to my door, and I save $10 doing that.
And right now, you know what? They're having a special 20% off if you put in the word dog.
Is that true?
As the coupon code when you check out.
Now, this sounds like a commercial, but this is really, we're just welcoming them on board, and I'll try it out and let you know how it goes. How are things going, by the way, with your dog?
Everything's going good, except for everything goes in her mouth right now, and especially my fingers. I'm trying to get my fingers out of her mouth.
Any tips, word of advice there, Doc?
Oh, just imagine her like a little crawling toddler right now.
Yes.
And anything in her path is going to end up in her mouth. It's just how the dogs kind of take in the world. It really is. Everything is to their taking.
Will she grow out of that?
Generally. And, my tips are basically, if you see her start to pick up something, don't try to yank it out of her mouth. I actually try to distract with something else and run the other way. It's much better.
Well, give them another toy, because if you try to take it from their mouth, doesn't she play a game? I noticed that.
Yes.
She actually thinks it's a game with you.
Right, but if it's your fingers,
the jaw lock.
Yeah, but if it's your fingers, it's kind of hard to run away.
1-866-405-8405. Dr. Debbie answering your medical questions. Now, I noticed I'm hearing a lot of dogs through your microphone today. What's up with that? Sounds like you're at a shelter.
It's a noisy crew, and I'm going to blame the Labrador in the group. It's Jenny. She started it all. But just a very vocal group of happy dogs, and they've got a lot to say, from the Dachshunds to the Chihuahuas. They've all got a lot going on.
We've got great gigs, don't we?
Every day I go home and I think I love what I do, and I'm just so fortunate to be able to be in that position where I have a job that I love what I do every day.
You're listening to Animal Radio. You can learn more at animalradio.com. Log on. Learn more.
Do your research when it comes to online pet meds. Some experts say the sites are good and others are not. I'm Dr. Jim Humphries. You may always be looking for a good deal on pet medications, but you may be wary of ordering your pet meds online. Internet pet medication sites are growing, and some are perfectly legitimate, but others are not. There are some great consumer buys online, but you need to be careful where you buy from, because it may not be the right medication for your pet. Making sure the site is a certified pharmacy is very important. Check what form your medication will come in. For instance, chewable tablets versus pills. In addition, your pet may not be able to wait for the medication to arrive. And remember, no one online knows your pet. One of the disadvantages of an online pharmacy is that you're talking to a computer. There's no personal contact. Another hitch could be that not all vets want to fax in prescriptions for online pharmacies. Those who do say it works best for routine care. Dr. Arthur Friedman of the Hawthorne Animal Hospital said the small markup he and most other veterinarians charge for filling prescriptions in their office pharmacies help keep the cost of regular appointments lower. Finally, experts said not to forget to add the cost of shipping when you do this comparison shopping for pet medications online. For the Veterinary News Network at myvnn.com,
I'm Dr. Jim Humphries reporting for Animal Radio.
Hi, this is John O'Hurley. You're listening to Animal Radio. And remember, most importantly, please spay or neuter.
This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by AFS, real food for real pets. Visit AFS online at animalfood.com.
Remember, the advice you hear on today's show is for entertainment purposes only. Please be sure to consult your own vet regarding your pet.
We join Animal Radio, already in progress.
Thank you. And are we drilling for teeth in the background? What the hell is that, Hal?
It's my,
He does that all day long. I wonder.
Is that a toy?
It's my pencil sharpener. Because I'm too stupid to use a manual one. I have to push it in. Of course, it doesn't do anything.
Judy, are you close enough to just smack him in the back of the head for me?
There.
Thank you.
This is an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Simple Solution.
I'm Bobby Hill for Animal Radio. The anonymity of the Internet has contributed to the rapid growth of the black market wildlife trade. A report by the International Fund for Animal Welfare tracked over 7,000 wildlife products listed on 183 websites in 11 countries that offered everything from elephant ivory to exotic animals as pets. This type of trade is having a devastating effect on ecosystems and endangered species. Last month, China's largest internet auction site joined IFAW to begin a month-long awareness campaign to cut down on the activities of illegal wildlife trade on the internet. Schools around the country are feeling the crunch of the financial crisis and have come up with some creative ways to raise money, but they better not count on donkey basketball games to do it, not if PETA has their way. The animal rights organization has successfully stopped donkey sporting events in New Jersey, Illinois, and are threatening to do the same to a Tacoma, Washington school. Organizers for the Bethel School District's fundraiser say they've been supplying donkeys for basketball games for 28 years without any injury to the animals. However, a spokeshuman for PETA said, quote, donkeys can only carry about 100 pounds and are forced to perform confusing and painful acts for the amusement of humans, end quote. By the way, the Humane Society of Tacoma and Pierce County isn't taking a stand, saying they haven't researched anything in this area. Back in 1969, Bea Humphreys rescued and cared for animals in her Florida home. She founded the Wildlife Care Center that eventually moved to a 4-acre site in Fort Lauderdale the following year. Well, this January, that center will merge with the Humane Society of the United States. The center, which cares for an estimated 14,000 injured, abused, or abandoned animals annually, has 55 employees, 600 volunteers who care for 400 to 900 animals at any one time. Wayne Pacell, president of and CEO of the HSUS, said, quote, the SPCA Wildlife Care Center has a remarkable team of wildlife experts. The center is the last hope for so many animals in distress and serves a critical function in Southeast Florida, end quote. I'm Bobby Hill for Animal Radio. Get more breaking animal news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Simple Solution with a tip for pet messes. For liquid spills or urine stains, blot up the excess by starting on the outside of the stain, then move toward the center of the affected area. This will prevent the stain from spreading.
Are you going to give one of those away? Oh, cool. Animal Radio, 1-866-405-8405. Guess what, Bobby? We're giving away one of these puppy pens. One of these... and this is what Judy... Yeah, sorry, you can't win on this. Judy's actually training her dog how to go to the bathroom.
Well, she actually trained herself with this thing. It was amazing. It's
like a kennel that's
like a kennel. Yeah, but it's large. You can put the bed on one end, and then it's got a grass area with the drainage underneath. And I've actually added on to it to make it larger, and she just goes in there and goes to the bathroom all by herself. I'm not one of those ones, so I'm not going to take her out, all day long because she's just a little chihuahua. So I've trained her to go on this.
Just a little chihuahua.
She's on this pee pad, and it's great. It's worked wonders for
me. Now, these things retail at about $600.
Yes, they do.
So we're going to have one to give away today in the show, the big show today. And, of course, this helps at a time where the economic crisis is all driving us crazy. Gas is the only thing we can talk about now. What do you?
No kidding. It's finally going down.
What do you have down there? $1.65? Did you say?
It's below $1.95, and I haven't seen that. I'm old, so I remember the 70s gas crisis.
Yeah, I do too.
We haven't seen gas prices below $2 in the wonderful state of California, I think, in 5 years.
Lower gas prices mean that the pet food prices hopefully will come back down. It'll all be good for us. 1-866-405-8405. We have Angie on the phone. Hi, Angie. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm great.
Where are you calling from?
Wisconsin.
Beautiful, cheesy Wisconsin. What's on your mind today?
I have two of my kids are having a little issue. My girl Jezebel, who's 3 years old, dog, and my girl Hannah, who's 6 years old, dog. When they go outside together, if Jezebel sees a squirrel or the neighbor or something, she turns around and she takes right after Hannah and has drawn blood on occasion, and I'm really worried about it. I have now started to crate Hannah so that when I'm not there that Jezzy doesn't get a hold of her. But I'm just wondering, is there some way that I can break Jezebel of this habit of going after Hannah?
Yeah. So, and you mentioned that it happens on the occasions with like squirrels and things like that. Is there anything else that you notice that kind of triggers this behavior? Is it just other like little varmints or other animals running around?
Well, it can be if she sees like somebody walking past the house. It's people, or it seems like it's anything that she wants to run to the gate and bark at.
Okay.
So she runs to the fence, looks at it, and then immediately turns around and takes after Hannah. And Hannah just tucks tail, head down and heads for the house. So
yeah.
I'm just wondering, what can I do? Because otherwise they're great friends. They wrestle on the floor and they sleep right next to each other. They don't fight over toys. They don't fight over food.
Good.
It
good.
just seems to be this outside stuff.
Okay. And that inherently is the biggest challenge that you have with this situation, is because it is outside and there's a lot of variables. You don't always know when another dog might be walking by, or a rabbit's in the yard, or someone's, walking by the fence line. That's really hard to predict. And in order to train against this behavior, it's basically a redirected aggression problem, is kind of the definition of what you're having. She gets anxiety, she gets kind of worked up, and she looks around, and the object she's actually interested in is unattainable. She can't get there. So she looks, and Hannah is the closest object, so she's actually being the brunt of, receiving the brunt of all of that. So the hard thing is, as long as those two dogs are in that same environment and we don't do anything to change that, you're going to have that same pattern. Now, keeping Hannah locked up or, away, that's one way to keep the event from happening, but it's not going to really address the issue for Jezebel. And that is that when those situations are going on, there's a lot of anxiety that she's feeling. And to try to work with that, we really need to actually kind of limit the access and be able to control and direct her behavior during those episodes. So that makes it tough. So if you're not around and you can't directly supervise those interactions outside, I'm going to tell you, you're probably going to have to keep her inside to where you can supervise her, and then spend some time outside with maybe a halter leash, a gentle lead type halter on her snout, where you can maintain control of her and almost kind of sit there and wait for something to happen. And we don't want you to get in the middle of it, but we do want to be able to direct with good behavior, practice obedience, to try to give her something to focus on rather than someone near the fence line or an animal. And this is something you can work on and practice in the yard, and not wait for someone to come walking by the gate or something. But as long as we're not taking control of that situation, I think you're going to really have a hard time with this.
And it's so funny to me because Jezebel's been through the AKC Good Citizen program. She passed with flying colors. So I don't know what. Why all of a sudden we had a really bad incident. They were kennelled over Memorial Day weekend, and the kennel put them both in the same kennel, and there were lots of other dogs there, and Jezzy really got a hold of Hannah. So I don't know if that was the start of it.
That sounds pretty suspicious, and that's not all that unusual. And I do see that with some pets that even are kenneled in my office here. They may get along great at home, but with kind of the higher anxiety, the barking, seeing other animals walk by their enclosures, it can be upsetting. And sometimes that's what kind of starts that direction to say, I'm going to bite this dog with me in my kennel versus that dog that I want to kind of look at and investigate out there. So, you may have kind of hit the core there. That might be at least part of maybe where some of this, kind of gets the explanation of where it occurred. There are some, situations where I will use some behavior medicines to help work with that anxiety. So I would get yourself in touch with your local veterinarian or a good dog trainer, because this would be something that I think you're going to probably need to have some practice sessions with, and kind of practice some of the ways of dealing with this, practicing the basic obedience, and just making sure that we're taking control of her behavior at those opportunities. And you can get through this, but it's kind of like the little sibling syndrome.
Because they are oh my gosh, they are my everything, and I don't want anything bad to happen to either one. I don't want to have to get rid of anybody, so there's got to be a solution.
Absolutely. And you can work through this. It's just the biggest part with some of these behavior problems. It takes a lot of effort on the training end. So, there's never an easy solution, but there is a solution with, practice, a lot of training, and then, maybe seeing about, some of the things like the pheromones that we use in dog collars that can help to kind of decrease her anxiety, and maybe use that in conjunction with an anxiety medicine to kind of help her through this training.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, my pleasure. Thanks for the call. This is Dr. Debbie with Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. You can learn more at animalradio.com. Log on. Learn more.
Hi, this is Jenna Fisher on Animal Radio. Please spay and neuter your animals.
This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by Safeguard Canine Dewormer. Did you know that your dog could have intestinal worms even if he's on a heartworm prevention program? For more complete protection, deworm your dog twice a year with broad-spectrum Safeguard Canine Dewormer. To find out more, visit www.safeguardfordogs.com.
Every year, there are millions of pets in animal shelters across the country just waiting for a loving home. I'm Mike Farrell with a very simple message. If you're thinking of getting a pet, please adopt. To easily locate your closest place to adopt, call Pets 911 toll-free at 1-888-PETS-911. It's easy, it's free, and it gives a pet a second chance at life. Together, we can ensure a better future for our pets.
For adoptable pet listings in your community, go to pets911.com. Pets 911, proud to be partnered with Animal Radio.
Okay, time to check out that website I heard about. www.safeguardfordogs.com. There it is.
Hi, I'm Dawn.
The virtual host is a nice touch.
Roxy.
It looks like these links and videos cover everything a dog owner might want to know about intestinal worm infections and how to prevent them. Here's a savings coupon for Safeguard Canine Dewormers, and even an online reminder service. Better bookmark this one, www.safeguardfordogs.com.
Hi, it's me, Brinkley, the Bernese Mountain Dog and CEO and founder of Brinkley Books Incorporated. Why don't you come visit my website, www.brinkleybooks.com. Meet my friends and spend a day in the life of Brinkley. Order a copy of my first book, The Tales of Brinkley, the Burner, the beginning of which I will personally potograph. More tales are coming this year, given of the heart. And remember, think Brink.
Hey, you want to keep a secret from your dog? It's the new fish sticks from Canine Caviar. They're good for your dog's teeth, gums, and also his achy joints. And fish sticks from Canine Caviar are 100% natural, completely digestible, and contain no chemical preservatives, additives, or fillers, and they're low in calories. But don't tell your dog that. All they care about is that they taste good. Get your dog fish sticks at caninecaviar.com. That's www.caninecaviar.com.
Celebrating our connection with our pets. From all across the globe, this is Animal Radio. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
And Ladybug the Chihuahua is in my sling, right? Your sling, I'm sorry. Your sling. I've actually adopted your dog.
I've noticed that. She spends more time with you in the studio, I think, than with me.
Well, I'm like a grandma. I have the dog when
she's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she's already ate and I get it.
But you deal with all the feeding and the
potty training.
Training, yes. How did that go? That went pretty well for you, didn't you? You know, I've never seen you take her outside. I mean, she can go outside, but I've never seen you take her outside. What's going on with that?
Yeah, she'll go outside if I'm out playing with her. Well, I got a small dog, and I don't want to do the 2 o'clock in the morning going out in the pee and all that and taking her out in the rain during the day. So I was looking for an alternative to the usual potty training and getting them trained outside. I found a product called the Puppy Pens.
And that's spelled kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's puppy, and then pens is spelled with a Z on the end. And it's like a big crate. There's room for her to put a bed, and then at the other end there's like artificial grass for her to go to the bathroom. And she actually trained herself. She went into this Puppy Pens, used the bathroom, and came back out all on her own. I didn't really have to do anything.
And she would eat in there and lay in there, too, is that correct?
Yeah, the one end, I put her bed, she would lay there, and, I mean, it was like, come on.
You decided to get the founder, or actually the VP of Sales and Marketing from the company that makes this. Greg Mosier on the phone. Hi, Greg. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Hal. How are you, buddy?
Very good. How's this product selling? It's kind of new, isn't it?
It is.
We've introduced it a couple months ago. We're doing extremely well with it. It's being well received throughout the country.
Explain it for the listener as colorful as you can.
Okay, what we've done is we've really connected the dots, and we've created the perfect living environment for your dog while you're gone. What we've done is create a restroom combined with a den in the kennel, and works every time.
Half of it is like an AstroTurf that
right.
They can
We use the best turf available. It's very porous. It drains extremely well, easy to clean.
When you say drain, what do you mean by that?
It drains through the grass down into
like a container.
A holding tank?
Yeah, like a container. I was at a loss for words there. Into a container, and you just pull the container out, and you just drain it right in the toilet. Very easy to use.
Now, where can we get it?
You can order it on at puppypens.com. That's puppypens, PENZ.com. Or you can call 913-710-2172 and order the product. If you have any questions on it, feel free to send us an email at info@puppypens.com as well.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and give one away. If you have a brand new puppy and you want to train your puppy to go to the bathroom as easily as Judy has.
Yeah,
inside.
Inside. It's great if you're in a high-rise apartment, or if you're elderly and you can't really get out to take your dog, or if you live in really bad weather. It's just great.
1-866-405-8405 right now. If you don't get through, or your puppy is not in the near future, head on over to www.puppypens. Let me spell that for you. It's Puppy, just like puppy, and then PENZ, all one word, .com.
Al, we have an offer for Animal Radio listeners. It's a great holiday gift. We're offering $100 off and the shipping today for Animal Radio listeners that order the product.
Very good. We appreciate your time. Have a wonderful holiday season. Puppypens.com. The links to everything you've heard on today's show at animalradio.com. My toy.
Hey, quit taking Ladybug's toys.
Oh, I have so much fun with her. It's Animal Radio. 1-866-405-8405. We're so lucky we get to bring our animals to work with us. Not a lot of people get to do that. Of course, Dr. Debbie, you have animals around you all day long.
I do, but I bring my babies to work quite a bit.
Do you? Do you really?
I do.
Well, how
yeah,
fun.
They tremble when they walk by the surgery treatment area, but they love being here.
Do they give the other animals, moral support?
I think so. They're a calming influence of, it's old hat. I've been here, done that, and, they're very calm about that part.
Well, they must love going to work with Mommy. Of course, spending time with your animals is the best gift you can give them for the holidays. Hi, Kathy. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine, and you?
Very good. Where are you?
I'm in Wyoming at the moment.
What, are you a truck driver?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You are on with Dr. Debbie.
Hi, Dr. Debbie.
Well, hi, Kathy. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing fine for being at work. The weather's sunshiny, and it's not snowing over here, so it's great.
Hey, you can't ask for more than that, right?
I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
I've got a little Jack Russell Terrier. She's mixed with Shih Tzu, and she's about 1.5 years, and she's got an extremely bad shedding problem. I was wondering, what could I do to take and try to correct this or help her out where she's not losing so much hair?
All right. Well, that's an interesting mix. I'm trying to imagine what she looks like.
Well, she looks like a Jack Russell. No, she looks like a Jack Russell, but she's got longer hair around her face.
Because Shih Tzus typically don't shed, so she must have inherited more of the hair characteristics for the Jack Russell then.
Yeah, because she looks more like the Jack Russell.
Does she have the Jack Russell personality?
Yes.
Definitely. She's on the go then. With the shedding problems, is it a matter of the volume? You're just getting a lot of hair, or is she losing hair in unusual patterns or in excessive areas?
No, it's all over. Like, you can hold her and you'll have a lap full of hair. Just shedding it from all over.
No, is she bothered? Is she scratching or itching or
not that
doing
much.
anything?
Not that much, no.
Well, I don't think the hair's bothering her. I think it's probably bothering you more than that. The awful truth is that there really is no cure for the shedding. And with certain breeds, especially the short breeds, you're going to see that constant loss of hair, and it's going to be constantly replaced by new hair. That cycle is always going on. And as long as we're not seeing hair patches, bald spots, rashes, things like that, then what you're describing is actually very normal. What's a little harder is if you've got, shorter hair. Sometimes it's a little harder to really get on a more regimented grooming program because you don't, see the mats. If you've got a little bit more length to the hair, then you can use some of the different grooming tools to try to get some of that hair out. And there's a lot of different types that might be appropriate for her hair coat. There's the types of like the shedding blades. I'm a firm believer in the Furminator, in getting the undercoat out.
Now they advertise it. They advertise that Dinovite all the time. Do you know anything about it? Is that good for them as far as for shedding?
There are so many different products out there that kind of overall are contesting that they're going to improve the hair coat, the immune system, the overall health of the pet. And I can't say that there's one out there that's a magic bullet that's going to really do it. For pets, some pets, I think some of those products may bring the level of nutrition up. But I'm a firm believer in just keeping it simple. Things like fatty acids are a very easy supplement to when we're talking about the hair coat or the skin. And those come in liquids or gel caps. And you add that to their diet, and that helps to kind of give healthy hair and skin from the inside out. And I know Dinovite and some of those products have those types of components, so I can see where you might see some improvement. But I can't stand there on the wall and say that any one product's going to be the magic cure for the shedding, because it just isn't there.
Right. Well, we love her and think the world of her. I was just wondering if there was anything that I could do extra than what I'm doing,
Yeah, and unless, some dogs, I've had friends that have actually trained their dogs to the vacuum cleaner, and they've actually vacuumed their dog. And, for them, that was, killing two birds with one stone. They're going to pull out the vacuum anyway, so taught their dog how to tolerate.
Dr. Debbie, when you walk into the supermarket, or rather into your pet store, you see all kinds of pet foods that address different situations. It's sort of funny now because there's a food for really everything. I've definitely seen for shedding animals. Is this the kind of stuff that you just don't know if it works, or is it a marketing idea, or does it work? Does it have these fatty acids that you're talking about?
Well, with fatty acids, they can't put enough in food without it going rancid. So that's one of the first things that I have to say, is that there's no food where they're going to be able to put that fatty acid in there and keep it fresh for you. I think most of this is a marketing thing. There are some definite improvements in diets that can help those things, but I really have a hard time saying, this is going to help the short-haired dog have better hair coat versus the winter Arctic breed coat. Some of those I think are just getting silly.
Very good. 1-866-405-8405 to talk to Dr. Debbie. If you're thinking of a change in a career, perhaps pet sitting, it's becoming a big, big career, a lot of money in it. We're going to have NAPS on today. That's the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters. They're coming on, telling us how we could get a little extra money or a full-time career out of pet sitting.
You're hearing about people that are leaving six-figure jobs to do stuff they enjoy, like pet sitting.
And they're making six figures, too. We'll actually hear from these people. Yeah, I know. What am I doing here? They're having a conference in Long Beach in January. We'll have all the details about that. Obama is promising to get a puppy to his children. I think it's a political promise as well as a promise to his children. What's the latest on that, Bobby?
We're still waiting to hear, and the latest we've heard, and that was from the First Lady. So I'm going to go with that as the best source. Mm-hmm. Michelle Obama has said that they will wait until after the family has made the move into the White House to cause less stress on the dog, which makes so much sense.
Okay, so we're waiting until January before they get that dog.
Yeah.
And of course, I've volunteered Ladybug, the studio chihuahua, as...
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think you can give away someone else's dog.
No, I don't think you can do that.
I'll point that out.
1-866-405-8405 to talk to anyone of the Dream Team. What do you have coming up in the news, Bobby?
We are going to take a look at a new exhibit that has opened in the museum in Washington, D.C. that takes a playful but very historic look at first dogs. That's coming up in the news.
As well as the 10 Commandments of vet office visits right after the news. It's all right here on Animal Radio.
Always a dog. This is Animal Radio
Network.
Every once in a while, there comes along a special group of animal lovers that stands strongly in defense of the voiceless. Animal People is that newspaper for people who really care about the animals. Animal People's published 10 times yearly. The publisher is a non-profit corporation dedicated to exposing the existence of cruelty to animals and to informing and educating you so that animal lovers worldwide can eliminate such cruelty. Your subscription is $24 a year and is 100% tax deductible. Get Animal People's fair and accurate investigative reporting from the industry watchdog. Visit our website at www.animalpeoplenews.org. That's www.animalpeoplenews.org to subscribe to the news for people who care about animals. Animal People. Subscribe today at www.animalpeoplenews.org.
Fido Friendly Magazine. Perhaps you can do without it, but for kibble's sake, think of your dog. At last, a voice for us traveling canines. Until now, few have taken mobile pooches seriously. After all, who appreciates warm shelter and a comfy bed more than a dog? Fido Friendly, the travel magazine for you and your dog. A quarterly guide to Fido-friendly accommodations in the United States and Canada. Because if Fido ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Subscribe at FidoFriendly.com. Your dog will thank you. Woof.
If you're a pooch that needs a unique gift for that special person in your life, OurDoghouse.com will give your human something to bark about. Find out what all the dogs are howling about. OurDoghouse.com, where distinguished pups do their shopping. Whether you're an Airedale or a Yorkie, or any breed in between, you'll find something to put your paws on. Drop by today and sign up for our free informative newsletter for dog owners. www.OurDoghouse.com. Aretha is actually celebrating her connection with her pet with Animal Radio. 1-866-405-8405. Dr. Debbie on the way to answer your questions. I believe she's getting in place. She's just sat down. What are you drinking over there, Doc?
It's my Diet Coke, always by my side.
I noticed it's disguised. You always have it in like a generic glass over there, so we never know what you're drinking.
You're going to make people think I'm sitting here boozing it up.
No, I know you're not. Vlade, of course. Now, Vlade may be a different story. He loves the Russian vodka. I don't think he ever comes in. Not even going to go there. Vlade, what do you got coming up today?
I'm going to talk about very important things. We always understand you got to be the boss in the relationship with the pets, but we don't know what it is. So I'm going to share with our listeners 6 things that the right boss will never do.
Okay, and I believe we have Dan.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Excellent. I feel kind of silly with the nature of the question that I have, but my situation is with one of my dog's breath. And,
okay, it's not silly at all.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. One of your dogs is what?
Has some rather strong breath.
Oh, breath. Halitosis. Okay.
Yeah, yes, that's the one nice way of saying it, I guess. But I have 2 dogs. They're both rescue dogs, and they're both small Chihuahua mutts, I guess, or mixed dogs. But they both eat the same. They both, are indoor dogs. But one's breath, I can't understand why it's so much worse than the other. Even though we brush his teeth and we give him the little green minty bones and everything, but I just can't seem to get rid of it.
Okay. And how old are your dogs?
My dogs, one is 4 and the other one is 2.
4 and you said 2?
Correct.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble. I have a symphony of dogs behind me here.
Oh, no problem.
And if I were to kind of look in your doggy's mouth and lift up their lip, what would I see?
No, his gums and his teeth look perfectly normal, white and healthy gums and everything. And yeah, they both have the same look inside their mouths, basically, both white and healthy gums.
Okay, because for small dogs, certainly the front teeth are some of the first teeth that we do start to see dental problems. But because their mouths are so tiny, it can be a challenge to look in the back. And I'd want to make sure that in the back we don't have any, tartar accumulation. Because even if you're seeing just a little bit of yellow to brown or even greenish colors on those teeth, that is enough to create a rich environment. And that's basically a bunch of calcium products and bacteria. And that is one of the most common causes of bad breath in dogs, is even low-grade dental disease. So I'd want to make sure we're checking that thoroughly. And so make sure you get a dental exam. Check those, have your gums checked out. If they're even a little bit of red or pink, then gingivitis and periodontal disease may be present. And that's always my number one thought when I smell bad breath in a dog. Now, if you're doing a regular home dental care, it sounds like you're kind of up on all of this stuff. So maybe we're not leaning the dental way and we need to look at some other avenues. For some pets, bad breath is also a potential sign of problems digestively. And even though one of your pets may be doing really well with the diet you're currently on, it's always possible that bad breath can be a result of digestive unrest. So whether it's like an inflammatory bowel disease condition where the pets just don't tolerate the foods well, or it just kind of creates a different environment within the stomach, we can sometimes get some pretty foul breath from gastrointestinal problems. So potentially a change in diet might be useful, and even adding in something like a probiotic, which is the good bacteria that helps to restore the stomach's balance. But I would definitely.
Do you have any recommendations as for one where I would obtain this probiotic?
Yeah, some pet stores do carry probiotics. Most veterinary offices do carry those, and I most typically for dogs and cats I use one that's made by the Purina company. It's in a powder form. You add it to their food. You didn't mention what kind of food you fed, but like I said, and even just a switch in a variety of brand. And I definitely keep up your efforts on the home dental care. Brushing teeth is a great way to help keep that plaque and bacteria down. There's also some sprays and rinses, and that too might help with helping keep that breath fresh and clean. There are a lot of different things in our arsenal you can give a whirl there. This is Dr. Debbie with Animal Radio. Give me a call or email me at docdebbie@animalradio.com.
Celebrating our connection with our pets. From all across the globe, this is Animal Radio. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
And I'm delighted to pop open the newspaper from, what's the date on this?
It was yesterday.
This is yesterday's paper?
Yeah, on the cover page.
Saturday of the Daily Pilot, serving the Newport Mesa community since 1907. Front page, Vlade.
Very impressive.
The world-famous Russian dog wizard.
To fix a couple of crazy little pooches.
I love it. They did a beautiful, beautiful article on
exactly.
you.
So and interesting
pictures.
Enough. Thank you. I'm just whispering with the pets. I have that gift. I have a unique gift to communicate with the animals.
Wait. You're saying whispering now. Now, it used to be wizard. Now it's whisper.
Dog wizard can whisper too. But as a matter of fact, the owner of those pets, and it's a newspaper, he said, I stopped watching Cesar Millan the minute Vladi came in my home.
Well, that's really only polite. When you have a guest over, you should turn off the TV. That just wouldn't be right to have Caesar or really.
Okay.
Well, good. I'm glad. You're really you're taking off. You're doing very well, and
Thank you. No, I have a deep respect to the Cesar Millan. I just have my own way of doing this, and it's worked for me.
If it works, I say that's the way to go. And in fact, I'm going to go to the phones. Who do we? I believe we have Judy. I know we've been moving around. Mara on the phones. Hi, Mara. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from actually at the Rose Bowl. I'm about to go into the UCLA football game.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, let's.
This is more important.
Okay. Let's take care of your problems. You're on with Vlade.
Hi, Maura. What state it is?
Rose Bowl, Pasadena, California.
Pasadena. Okay. I was recently in the Pasadena newspaper too. I don't know if you saw that. But go ahead.
Oh, no, I don't get the Pasadena paper, but I'll look it up on the internet.
Okay. So how can I help you? I would be more than happy to. You're like from California now, from my native state now, because I'm here.
Okay, so about 6 months ago, I was driving along and I saw 3 puppies who were stray. They didn't have leashes or collars on or anything. And I picked him up and I ended up keeping one of them. He's a Chihuahua and he's about 1.5 years, and he will not, no matter what I do, sleep through the night. I've tried, putting him in a crate in a different room for like over a month, and I wouldn't respond to him barking or howling or anything. And he would howl all night. I tried letting him sleep out, and he would sleep in my bed or on the ground. And at like 2 or 3 every morning, he would jump all over me, and I'd have to let him outside, but he wouldn't even go to the bathroom. He just wanted to run around and bark.
Okay.
And now I have him in a crate in my room, but he still howls like all night and needs to be let out at like 5 in the morning.
Okay, so how old is the Chihuahua now?
I think he's about 1.5 years.
1 year. Okay. And if you do not let him go, he's peeing in the crate?
No, he doesn't need to pee. He just wants to go out.
So your major concern is you wanna sleep through the night, I guess, and you want him not barking in the crate. That's what you're referring to, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, here is what I'm going to do. I suggest you to get the pop can or soda can and put some pennies inside. And I'm going to tell you a little trick. I would like you to get maybe 10-15 feet very thin rope. And I would like to attach the end of that rope to the can. I would like to put that can next to the crate. Make sure in the beginning have a crate. It's okay to have a crate in your bedroom. Don't put the Chihuahua with you in your bed, but put next to your bed because you don't want to create a lot of stress in the beginning. So the can, pop can or soda can with the pennies next to the crate, the rope attached to the can goes through the bar of the crate, and after that you are holding it in your hand and you make pretend you go to bed, okay, turn off the lights and sleep. Okay, if in the beginning everything fine. Now, if through the night your Chihuahua is, don't say anything. What you need to do, just sharply snap the rope. What is going to happen is this can is going to hit the crate. The Chihuahua will be startled, surprised. Boop! From that time, don't say anything. You don't praise, nothing, no attention. Continue to sleep. If it's happening again, do it again. I promise you, if you do this procedure 3-4 times, you are going to win, and the Chihuahua will not bother you anymore. I do suggest for the first week, you would still get up and let the Chihuahua maybe go outside, but do it at least after 10-15 minutes, she is quiet in the crate. Okay? Okay, so that's gonna work, and thank you so much for calling to the Animal Radio. This is the Vladi, world-famous Russian dog wizard from Animal Radio. You can call me right now at 866-405-8405. You can shoot me email at vladi@animalradio.com. My website is socaldogtraining.com. We have a lot of DVDs and a lot of free information right now. Everything is ready for you. If you have any problems with your pets, please give us a call.
We do get a lot of calls. People ask, does this guy have a DVD? And I want to stress, yes, and you can get it at that website there. It's an awesome DVD.
Thank you so much for this endorsement, but because we're receiving a lot of calls from the people. They really tell us it works, and I put all my secrets together, and it's just the first and only dog training system which is patent pending in America.
You're listening to Animal Radio. You can learn more at animalradio.com. Log on. Learn more.
The most common pet emergencies veterinarians see are fractures, intestinal blockage, ingestion of household chemicals, lacerations, and soft tissue trauma, all of which can result from accidents at home. Pet-proofing your home is a simple and inexpensive way to keep your furry family members safe and happy. Here are some reminders. Fertilizers should be used carefully and sparingly. Take care with antifreeze, gasoline, oil, insecticides, or cement. There are more than 230 plants and 13 foods identified by the ASPCA as potential hazards to your pet's health. You can learn more at aspca.org. Lock up all your medications because things like aspirin and ibuprofen can cause kidney failure and sometimes death in pets. Remove pennies, nicotine products, mothballs, and batteries that might be lying around your house. Bones from pork chops, chicken, and ribs can splinter and cut the inside of your dog's mouth and intestinal tract. Cover exposed electrical cords or outlets to prevent burns and electrocution. Also use baby gates to block off any spaces where your pets could be in danger of falling. A little preventive thought now will go a long way. For the Veterinary News Network at myvnn.com, I'm Dr. Jim Humphreys reporting for Animal Radio.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
Times are tough for Tokyo's 160,000 restaurants, but one tavern owner, Kayabuki, says business is booming at his place, and he owes it all to his waiters, who are monkeys. Kayabuki said it all started when he handed a pet monkey a hot towel, and the monkey handed it to a customer. Now his 2 monkeys are happily working as waiters to enthusiastic customers who tip the monkeys with soybeans and peanuts. The monkeys love their work, but by law they're only allowed to work 2 hours a day, and for health reasons they have to wear clothes. The monkey waiters are attracting customers from all around the globe. One patron was quoted as saying they were better than most human waiters. Another patron said the monkeys were cute, like his kids, but they were better listeners than his kids. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio. Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
Hi, this is Jamie Farr, and you're listening to the Animal Radio Network. And remember to spay and neuter your pets.
This portion of Animal Radio brought to you by Flexin. Eliminate joint pain from your pet's life at flexpet.com.
Have you been dreaming of that special career that not only offers you great financial rewards, but is also really fun? You've found it. Pet sitting is becoming one of the fastest growing home-based businesses in the country today. NAPS, the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters, can help you achieve that dream. NAPS will provide you with the education and tools you need just by visiting www.petsitters.org. That's NAPS at www.petsitters.org.
Hi, I'm Vladi. Let me introduce to you the new concept to the real pet food, AFS. AFS is a true miracle meal. All natural ingredients, 100% complete and balanced. No artificial flavors, no coloring, no fillers, no gluten, and absolutely no preservatives. Discover what the magic of the real meat can do for your pet's health. Visit animalfood.com.
Hi, I'm Bobby Hill from Animal Radio. Are you wondering what to give the pet owner on your list? Looking for that perfect holiday gift? Give them FlexPet for their dog or cat. FlexPet works to help pets keep that spring in their step. It's the most effective and comprehensive joint formula for improved mobility. It's the only one with CM8, and it works for both cats and dogs. FlexPet has a money-back guarantee, the best one in the industry. FlexPet is so confident that you will see improvement in your pet's mobility. They offer an unconditional 3-bottle guarantee with no time limit to return the unused portion. And right now, you can buy 2 and get 1 free. Just ask about the special. Call 1-800-END-PAIN. That's 1-800-363-7246. Call FlexPet now. You won't forget the phone number. It's 1-800-END-PAIN. I'm Bobby Hill from Animal Radio, and I wouldn't tell you about it if I didn't believe in it. FlexPet. 1-800-END-PAIN.
Be very, very quiet. The Chihuahua is sleeping.
You know, it's kind of hard to dance to the music when I've got her in a sling around my neck.
It's Animal Radio, 1-866-405-8405. Ladybug rarely gets to sleep. She's one of those...
There's her
I
head.
just mentioned her name.
Her head popped out of the sling.
She just popped up. You know, we have a great gig that we can bring our animals to work.
Yes.
And a lot of people are, especially in this climate of so much stress in the work environment, are giving up their stock day trading jobs, their hard, laborious jobs for the job of pet sitting, which turns out to be actually a very profitable business, believe it or not. And we talked earlier about the guy who was a day trader, and he's now making 6 figures with his business now, a pet sitting business.
Wow.
And when you start your own business, especially if it's something that you haven't done before, you want an organization or a network behind you of people that you can contact, others that are doing the same thing, to make the learning curve a little bit easier. And that is what NAPS is about. NAPPS. It's the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters. And we have president of NAPS, Candace LeBain Godfrey. It's Candace. I don't want to say Candace LeBain Godfrey joining us. Hi, Candace. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you. And thank you for having me on this today.
Did you have a high-pressure job that you left to get into pet sitting?
I did have a high-pressure job. I was senior VP in charge of marketing and sales in the hospitality industry. Mm-hmm. And albeit I really enjoyed it and had a great time with it, at some point I needed to make a change due to all those pressures. And my husband and I had used pet sitters extensively due to both of our jobs and travel. And from the time we did, I kept looking into it as a place to go. And one day, I had an extremely stressful day at work, and I walked in that night and I said to my husband, I'm going to be a pet sitter. And he said, okay. I don't think he really thought that I was serious at the time. And that was in March of 1997. And on June 15th of 1997, I went live.
Oh, okay.
Wow. And I have never turned back for a single minute.
And has it paid the bills for you? I mean, going from one job, a for sure job, to your own business sort of is a jump.
Very definitely. And it depends on how you place yourself. I knew I was going to develop a company, and I knew that it was going to be a big company. So did the first couple of years, you work night and day, and you make it happen. And now I'm in an extremely good position and making more than I was in corporate America.
Wow.
And you're also the sitting president of NAPS. Tell us a little bit about NAPS.
The National Association of Professional Pet Sitters is the largest nonprofit pet sitting organization in the United States. And it is a member organization. The members always have a voice in what we're doing. And NAPS, unlike other organizations, we provide all of our members with all the educational tools that they need to start up a business, whether that's a contract, whether that's a vet notification form, whether to go market yourself, what types of advertising, everything that has to do with operations to set up your business, as well as we're getting ready to launch a new certification program that will allow the pet sitters to be even more educated and able to service their clients better.
Now, when you started your own pet sitting, NAPS wasn't around. You had to actually do it the hard way, huh?
No, actually, NAPS was around.
Was it?
It was, but I got in because of my corporate background. I was able to move that knowledge forward to my own business and set myself up operationally also with all my own forms. It would have been much easier and less time-consuming to have been able to have gone to an organization, gone to the site, and picked out contracts, picked out vet notification forms. Like a vet notification form is probably one of the top forms that a pet sitter needs, because nationwide vets require a signed form to do medical procedures, or even just to check out the animal if you have to take them in. So all of those things would have been a lot easier than me sitting down and making them all up and then going to see an attorney and doing all the things that you do to make sure that all your ducks are in a row.
Yes.
Now, coming up January 16th through 18th, we're going to be broadcasting live from the Queen Mary in Long Beach as you guys have your annual conference.
That is so exciting. We are looking forward to it.
Well, now tell us, what is the conference about and who can get in?
Well, anybody can get in, whether you're considering being a pet sitter or considering getting into the industry. You can sign up and partake of all the different conferences, seminars that are there. As a regular pet sitter, it would be the same thing, that you're a member of NAPS, and then you would be able to just do your signing up. Obviously, there's a difference in price.
Now, 3 days, what goes on during those 3 days?
On Friday, we have what we call an operations day. And it is geared more for probably the new pet sitter, because we go through certification, we go through liability and bonding insurances, disaster preparedness, pet sitting 101, pricing theory, image consulting, a cross-section which will enable the pet sitter to take care of themselves operationally, take care of themselves in public, and to take care of the pets.
And these are all things you may not think about when starting your own pet sitting business. They're there, and you go over these in meticulous detail and have some great speakers. It all happens in Long Beach. You don't have to be a NAPS member, but it helps. It's cheaper if you're a NAPS member, right?
Exactly.
And how can we learn more? Head over to petsitters.org.
I think that would be a great idea.
I have right here a fully downloadable itinerary of the conference if you want to learn a little more. And I believe this is available through the website. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. And just as a bit of information, all of our speakers and all the people that are doing seminars are well known in the industry, like Deborah Farrington, who wrote All God's Creatures, and Robert Naumann, who is one of the top animal attorneys for animals in the United States.
And I also want to add our friend Arden Moore as well as Kat Albrecht.
Yes, yes.
Sounds like fun. So if you're thinking of getting into the business, this is a good way to sort of check it out, see what's going on. Of course, you can learn more and download this extensive booklet at petsitters.org, and we'll link to everything that you've heard on today's show at animalradio.com. Candence, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank both of you. I appreciate it, and have a great day.
We look forward to seeing you very soon.
Me too. Take care.
Boy, both of you are quite the dancer, dancing together. It's Animal Radio, 1-866-405-8405.
Well, what do you expect when you play that?
In here for us.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. Listen, coming up, we have a giveaway, one of these puppy pens that you've been using to train your
potty
dog,
train.
Ladybug.
Those things are so cool.
Aren't they?
Yeah, and you know what? They're about $600. Kind of steep price-wise, but we'll have one to give away. It is a little pricey, but it's a high-end item.
Hey, it's worth every penny to me.
And make a great Christmas gift.
If you live in an apartment or a condo, this is so perfect.
Absolutely. Or with a Chihuahua, you don't even go outside to walk your dog.
Well, I mean, I take her outside for walks. But
exercise.
But I don't have to take her outside for potty break.
This is my third week trying FlexPet, which Bobby turned me on to. I'm actually using the human version, Flexin, and Boog is using the FlexPet version. And this is great. It has a chondroitin, glucosamine, some other ingredients including, what is it, CM8? What is that, Bobby?
Yeah, CM8. And your knees and hips aren't creaking anymore, Helen.
No, isn't that cool?
Point that out in a nice way.
I was wondering what his secret was, the way he's been moving around.
You're not
here.
as squeaky as you used to be.
No. Well, no, it used to be that every time one of my joints moved, I mean, if I just got up in the morning or I got up from a chair, it would make noise. And really, I didn't think anyone could hear it, but apparently Bobby heard it. She could hear my bones creaking. No more. I encourage you to check out their website for your pet's sake. If they're one of those middle-aged or senior pets, which can have it about 5 years old now for a cat or a dog.
Yes.
I believe their phone number is actually 1-800-NPAIN. Is that the number, Bobby?
That's it. That's it for FlexPet, 1-800-NPAIN. And it really works. And it started out as a human drug, and the people that were using it gave it to their pets.
So if you see your pet kind of crawling around like he's got achy bones or something like that, you
if
may
he
want to
gets up
consider
a
this.
little slow when he gets out of bed in the morning, if he moves,
If the kitty's not making it all the way to the top of the armoire, on the first jump, that's a clue.
FlexPet.com is their website. But you can tell it's getting towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
Getting a little tired here. And, of course, Vladi's been sharing his vodka. Well, he hasn't really been sharing it. When he looks the other direction, I just take a little swig like that.
You drank too much my tea.
Yeah.
I came back and I see half of the bottle is gone,
Now, you're always talking about being the boss of your dog. What does that mean from the dog's perspective?
Yes, it's very important to be the boss to our pets, and it's sadly enough, most people will never get respect out of their pets and never will make them obey them because they don't want to be the boss to their pets. Because, as the humans, we hate when somebody try to bossing us. Mm-hmm. But the pets, because they're pack animals, they want us to take the lead in the relationship and be the boss. So they would just follow us as they would follow its own mom. And if you don't believe me, ask the Vladimir Putin's black lab, Corny. That dog just loves Vladimir Putin, which maybe not too many Americans do. But anyway, let me tell you a couple of things that right boss will always do. And whatever it's from human perspective, whatever from dog's perspective. So you already, I see, grab the pencil or pen.
You got a pen?
I'm ready
to write these.
A right boss never say twice. a right boss will never coaxing or negotiating.
No negotiating.
No negotiating. Okay. No compromising. Because equal compromise can be just among equals. Okay, I don't believe we're equals to our pets.
No.
You know, that's important.
They're far more superior.
A real boss never sleep with subordinate in the same bed. I know what you don't laugh. There is some exceptions, but after you sleep with subordinate, you're not becoming boss anymore.
Yeah, that's true. The relationship changes.
Yes,
after
exactly.
that.
Exactly. You know. Now, real boss always goes first through the doors. Why? Because he's the boss.
The leader, okay.
Exactly. A real boss will never allow subordinate to take superior position. For instance, to put the paw on him, you know, on the shoulder. Like sometimes we do in the Detroit. What's up, buddy? Bam, bam. I would not tolerate it, you know. And real boss will never allow subordinate to get away with disobedience. People, if you will just do 50% of what I said right now, you know, you will be better off and the dog will be better off. That's what I learned in the long run, and your dog will be happier. And he will work better if he will not be making decisions of equals. That's important things for the people to understand it. Or you will be the leader, or your dog will be.
We join Animal Radio, already in progress.
And I love that Truman gave away the puppy he was given. What a turd. Talk about regifting. Ooh, can we do regifting humor?
This is an Animal Radio News Update, brought to you by Simple Solution.
I'm Bobby Hill for Animal Radio. Quote, if you want a friend in Washington, get a dog, end quote. That's the quote often incorrectly attributed to President Truman, but it is part of the new First Dogs exhibit opened in Washington, D.C. The museum features a playful but historical look at leaders and their canine companions. Truman, the exhibit points out, was given a Cocker Spaniel puppy as a Christmas present in 1947. He promptly gave it to his doctor. But other presidents were quite fond of their furry companions. FDR's Fala had his own press secretary. The senior president.
What was Fala? Did you say Fala?
Fala. Remember Fala, FDR's Scottish Terrier?
You know, FDR was just a little before my time. That it was a Scottie named Fala? Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how my old memory remembers it. Had his own press secretary. Hal, do you have a press secretary?
I don't have a press secretary. I don't know any animals that have a press secretary.
Okay, are you a published author?
Not yet.
Sadly, no. Okay, remember Senior President Bush's English Spaniel, Millie?
Yes.
Wrote her own book.
Wow.
But the top dog president's wise. Maybe Warren G. Harding's Laddie Boy, who had his own hand-carved wooden chair for cabinet meetings. And when Harding, who was a former, I'm serious, when Harding, the former newspaper man, died in office, newsboys around the country collected pennies and had a copper statue made of that Airedale. Visitors, by the way, who visit the exhibit can vote on their choice of first dog for the Obama family. So if you're in Washington, D.C., stop by the museum.
It pays to be the first dog, apparently.
Doesn't it? Apparently. By the way, there's quite a photo spread coming out in the 2009 Critters for the Cure calendar. It stars 13 dogs, 2 cats, and 1 guinea pig named Lily Piglips, along with a group of breast cancer survivors. The proceeds from the calendar go towards cancer patients to provide everything from wigs to transportation and help with vet bills and dog walking. Clancy Kress, who is the president of Critters for the Cure, says the members recognize the therapeutic value of pets. If you want more info, log on to crittersforthecure.com. And across the pond in Britain, 8 of UK's fattest pets are competing in a 100-day diet and fitness contest in a bid for the fittest pet. There are 7 dogs and 1 big fat cat, all more than 30% over their ideal weight, which is why they were picked by the veterinary charity PDSA to compete in the slimming competition. The dog or cat who shows the largest percentage of weight loss while following their new health program will be crowned champion and score their owner a pet-friendly vacation. I'm Bobby Hill for Animal Radio. Get more breaking animal news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update, brought to you by Simple Solution with a tip for pet messes. For liquid spills or urine stains, blot up the excess by starting on the outside of the stain, then move toward the center of the affected area. This will prevent the stain from spreading.
Animal Radio, celebrating our connection with our pets as we do every week. 1-866-405-8405 to talk to Dr. Debbie or to Vlade, to Vinny, or to Bobby, or to me, or Judy. Joy Turner, animal communicator Joy Turner. Boy, the list gets so big, they have to keep updating it in the studio. It's unbelievable.
I don't know how you remember everybody.
And we have Kathleen on the phone. Hi, Kathleen. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Very well. Where are you?
I'm in Woodland Hills, California.
Listening on Coast or XM?
Actually, Coast.
Coast. Okay, you're on with Dr. Debbie.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. I have approximately a 3 to 4 year old long-haired shepherd that I rescued. And I noticed when I've been brushing her, she has some black moles on her back that when I brush, they come off.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wondered if it's something to worry about. They're little tiny moles that are smaller than the end of a pencil eraser.
Okay.
And they're black.
And is she scratchy or itchy in those areas?
Well, I can brush her and she itches everywhere. I don't know if it's the hot weather we're having here, or I don't know. I don't think it has to do with the moles.
She just typically, if you scratch her side, does she just like to scratch back and itch?
She does do that periodically.
Okay. All right. So in these little areas, would you say that if you scratch them with your fingertips, does it easily come off that way?
They come off, and it's white underneath.
And do you see any sores below?
She's got a lot of hair. She's long-haired, so it's really hard unless I use a forced air dryer. I'm a groomer too. So if I use forced air dryer, I can see, to the skin.
Okay. And do any of these have any big size to them, or are they all pretty tiny?
These are small, but now she's growing one on her head.
The reason I ask is there's a couple different things that we can tend to see in some of the shepherd-type background dogs.
Mm-hmm.
We can see really small little, almost like blackheads, if you will,
right.
And that's more kind of like a infection in the hair follicles, a folliculitis,
okay.
Or leaning towards a pyoderma or a skin infection. That is typically, it can happen quite a bit in shepherd mixes. And that can be managed with, shampoos, occasionally, antibiotics. Now, there are some actual skin tumors that we see a lot more in shepherds, and if there's more size or more of a nodule to these things, then I might be thinking along those lines. They have a tendency for sweat gland tumors and tumors of the hair follicles, which have a wonderful name called trichoepitheliomas. Nice big long word there. Those are all relatively good things. Some of them are kind of chronic, some of these skin conditions with folliculitis. So it can be, as a groomer, you're in a special advantage because you already have figured out the great benefit of therapeutic bathing and how that can really help for a lot of patients and a lot of pets.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I would probably want to do is to get a sample of that gunk and look at that under a microscope.
Okay.
And just to see and to make sure, because there are some shepherds that we can run into problems with yeast infections and some other types of infections concurrently. But I make sure your veterinarian gets a good look at it. Look under the microscope. If you like to look at cool things, ask them to take a peek. And then we can get on maybe some long-term bathing regimens or maybe a medication if that's the case.
Okay, terrific. Thank you very much.
Okay, my pleasure. Thanks for the call here, Kathleen. This is Dr. Debbie with Animal Radio, 1-866-405-8405.
You're listening to Animal Radio. You can learn more at animalradio.com. Log on. Learn more.
The 10 Commandments of Veterinary Office Visits. Your veterinarian wants you to know this stuff, and we have our young old friend, Dr. Nancy Kay, joining us again. Hi, Doc. How you doing?
I'm not sure how I should take that. How young, old, which is it?
Well, you're an old friend, but you're young
at heart.
At heart, well, probably in heart and chronologically too.
Well, middle age probably covers it.
Really isn't mute. I look at you as a wealth of wisdom.
Thank you.
And that's why I got you on the phone today. The 10 Commandments of Veterinary Office Visits. I'm ready to count them down. I have my pen and paper. Let's go.
Great. So the very first one is, thou shalt push thy veterinarian off her pedestal. What is this pedestal? The pedestal, quite truthfully, is typically a figment of the client's imagination. Kind of like when you meet your own medical doctor or perhaps a famous politician or an athlete, you revere them, you hold them in awe. And if you do that, it's very hard to have an open, honest discussion about what's really in your dog's best interest. So what I'm telling clients to do is mentally push that veterinarian off her pedestal. Veterinarians are very down-to-earth people. Treat her that way so that you can have an open discussion about what's really in your dog's best interest.
Treat her like a friend.
We call it sometimes the white coat intimidation factor.
Yes.
And in fact, I've abandoned wearing a white coat. It doesn't work well for me. I don't think dogs like the white coat much. And it creates an air of authority that I don't feel comfortable having. I like a more personable discussion with my client.
And now you should only do this mentally. You shouldn't do this verbally, right?
Or physically.
Yes, or physically.
Exactly.
And number 2.
Thou shalt be present. And what do I mean by that? I mean that it's always beneficial to actually attend the office visit. Some people get in the habit of simply dropping their dog off and then going to work, or having their boyfriend or their mother-in-law take the dog to the veterinarian instead of them. And I encourage people to actually be there. In fact, I think all the decision makers should be present. You want a chance to see the x-ray, see the abnormality on the x-rays, learn how to administer medication. It's a good thing to see how your dog interacts with your veterinarian. And what dog wouldn't really absolutely positively want his favorite person to be by his side when he's at the doctor's office?
Of course.
And lastly, I really like it when cell phones aren't ringing during the course of an examination.
Okay, thou shalt be present in mind. Be there in mind. Be
Body
focused
and mind and spirit.
Yes, and turn that cell phone off. Okay, number 3.
Thou shalt let the staff know if thy dog is aggressive.
Uh-oh.
You know, there's a lot of dogs that will behave aggressively in a veterinary hospital, and who can blame them? The dog might be scared. The dog might be experiencing pain. Perhaps there was a prior bad experience. In that situation where you're in an enclosed little exam room, sometimes the dog feels the need to be protective of the human at the other end of the leash.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is I think many people are embarrassed by their dog's aggressive tendencies. And I say, no, just ante up that information. Be very forthcoming with it.
Okay, thou shalt let the staff know if thy dog is aggressive. Number 4.
Number 4, we are up to thou shalt provide information. Telling me that I give my dog a little pink pill twice a day doesn't help me. There's lots of little pink pills. Bring along names, bring along specifics. If you're going to a veterinarian for the first time, make sure to have the written history, vaccination history, prior medical problems, laboratory test results, x-rays.
And, of course, don't lie about the fact that you don't give them treats.
That's commandment number 5, which is thou shalt confess everything.
Oh, okay.
If your dog really has trained you to feed him nothing but table food, if you've been sharing your own prescription medications with your dog, if he just ate a plate of marijuana-laden brownies, this is the time to confess everything, because we're going to be better able to help your dog.
Keep your stash away from your dog if you can, okay?
Exactly.
10 Commandments of Veterinary Office Visits with Dr. Nancy K. When we return, the other 5. Don't go anywhere.
Ever dream of a home free from pet stains and odors? Haven't we all? Now defending your dream is easier with Simple Solution Stain and Odor Remover. The new and improved rapid response formula works faster and better at complete and permanent stain removal. This new bacterial and enzyme formula is more powerful and more effective for those tough pet stains like urine, feces, and vomit. Your dream is our reality. Simple Solution products are available at pet specialty stores nationwide.
Listen to the news.
2 dogs rescued from a locked car.
Emergencies can happen anywhere, anytime. They can even affect your pets.
In other news, a local policeman saved a cat today.
Being prepared and knowing what to do can be the difference between life or death for you and your pets. The same Red Cross you know and trust is the leader in pet first aid preparation and education. Look for dog or cat first aid guidebooks with DVDs online at redcrossstore.org or contact your local Red Cross chapter for more information. The Red Cross is helping protect our pets.
This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by NAPS, the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters. Let NAPS help you achieve your dream of a financially rewarding and fun job by providing you with the education and tools you need by visiting www.petsitters.org.
Hey, you want to keep a secret from your dog? It's the new fish sticks from Canine Caviar. They're good for your dog's teeth, gums, and also his achy joints. And fish sticks from Canine Caviar are 100% natural, completely digestible, and contain no chemical preservatives, additives, or fillers, and they're low in calories. But don't tell your dog that. All they care about is that they taste good. Get your dog fish sticks at caninecaviar.com. That's www.caninecaviar.com.
Listen closely. Did you hear that? That's the sound of peace of mind. Peace of mind that comes in convenient, pre-measured packets of Safeguard Canine Dewormer. Just sprinkle the granules on your dog's food twice a year to protect him against the major types of canine intestinal worms. Monthly heartworm prevention programs alone are not enough. Find out how to get the upper hand on intestinal worm infections by visiting www.safeguardfordogs.com.
It's Animal Radio, 1-866-405-8405. Dr. Nancy K., whenever she gets on, the phones ring off the hook. I'll tell you that right now. The book called Speaking for Spot, a great book. If you're looking to select a vet, want to know a little more about that communication between you and your vet, this is a great book to check out, Speaking for Spot. We have the 10 Commandments of veterinary office visits. Now, we've gone 1 through 5 so far. Thou shalt push thy veterinarian off her pedestal. Thou shalt be present at the office visits. Thou shalt let the staff know if thy dog is aggressive. Thou shalt provide information. And thou shalt confess everything, including the fact that your dog may have eaten your marijuana brownies.
You ready for number 6?
Yes.
Thou shalt pause for confusion. What I mean by this is we veterinarians are so used to using a whole different language filled with medical terminology that we sometimes lapse into medical speak, and a layperson would have no clue what we're talking about. So if you hear a word or an expression that you don't understand, go ahead and ask your veterinarian for a better explanation. If you're having trouble comprehending what they're saying, sometimes ask to see a picture or look at the x-ray so you can get a clearer idea in your mind about what's going on with your dog.
This is number 6 now. No, this is number 7. I'm sorry.
Number 7. Thou shalt share thy concerns. You know, Hal and Judy, most veterinarians do what they do because they appreciate how much dogs mean to their humans. So who better to be able to empathize with what you're going through? So if you're feeling scared, if you're feeling angry, if you're having financial concerns, you're wondering how in the world you're going to pay your bill, share those concerns with your veterinarian, because there's a lot of factors that weigh into what you're going to ultimately decide to do with your dog. And what I usually tell people is that we base it upon what's emotionally and what's financially feasible. That enters into the decision-making.
Good. Okay, thou shalt share thy concerns. And number 8?
Thou shalt ask questions. What you want to do, what Speaking for Spot is all about, is how to be an effective medical advocate for your dog. That means you need to be educated, and the way to be educated is to ask lots of questions of your veterinarian. I'm always concerned when I talk about something that's rather complex and my client has no questions. Questions are the mainstay of becoming educated to make good choices for your dog.
Thou shalt ask questions.
I love number 9. Number 9 is thou shalt treat the entire staff well. Occasionally I'll have a client who is so sweet to me, and then I come out of the exam room and my receptionist tells me that the client was rude and awful to her, or the nurse will tell me that the client was belligerent or disrespectful. And so I want you to know that veterinarians, you can be as sweet as you want to them, but if you're not treating the entire staff well, they will know about that. And I will actually go ahead and divorce clients who are not treating my staff well.
Okay, so thou shalt treat the entire staff well. That's the same policy here, by the way, at Animal Radio when you call in at 1-866-405-8405. Number 10.
Thou shalt always come away with a plan. What I mean by that is anytime you speak with your veterinarian or you leave the veterinary hospital, always know in your own mind what the next step is going to be. When do I next call you? When do I next report in? When do I next bring my dog in to see you?
All this wonderful information in Speaking for Spot, and you can go to the website at speakingforspot.com. Of course, we'll link to everything you've heard today at animalradio.com. And if you wish, you can pick this up in the September-October issue of Bark Magazine if they have it archived at your library or have leftover issues at your store. The 10 Commandments of Veterinary Office Visits. Dr. Nancy K., thanks so much for coming back.
Always a pleasure, Hal and Judy, anytime.
More Animal Radio on the way.
Hi, this is Rue McClanahan on Animal Radio. Spay and neuter your pets.
This portion of Animal Radio brought to you by Flexin. Eliminate joint pain from your pet's life at flexpet.com.
Vinny Penn back at you on Animal Radio.
This one passed on to me from humble Hal Abrams, your man with the plan at Animal Radio. He seems to have a problem with guys who go on and on when it comes to neutering their dogs. And I'll tell you, it's really no different. I know exactly what he's talking about. It's really no different than those guys who have a little boy. They have a son, and they're talking about circumcision or just anything in general. Men just are very, very territorial when it comes to their offspring or their pets' privates. They feel it gives them pause, and that's P-A-U-S-E rather than P-A-W-S, which you probably hear a lot here on Animal Radio, to become stand-up comedians. My dog, he's not the same anymore. His bark's going to go from roof to roof. And they think all of a sudden they're destined for Caroline's down in New York City, or that the dog is not going to be the same. Yeah, within the first couple of days, he's not going to be the same. And yeah, he may have a look in his eyes like, dude, thanks a lot. But basically, everything your vet says about the neutering situation is true. One, we do need a bit of population control when it comes to pets. There is an overabundance of dogs and cats. The outcome is not something any pet lover, any animal lover wants to see. So it is a wise thing to do. And it does. There's nothing worse than that overheated animal who is calling your Barcalounger his girlfriend. So all of these things, all of the benefits of neutering are intact. But the guy who says, you've got to bring him to his wife. You must drop him off. I can't do it. Why? Is there a horse race that day? Is there a Sopranos marathon on A&E? Give the real answer. Don't say it has anything to do with your heart is breaking. How can a man do this to his dog? And all of these routines, guarantee it's like your father coming over to your house after you've had a vasectomy, and he's like, what did you do? You're just laying there looking at it the same way your dog's going to be looking at you like, could you just kind of get out of here? I'm stitched up, a little bit tender, and your little comedy routine here is really kind of annoying me. You're really a pain in the ass right now, and that's not an area I need a pain in because I've got one kind of not far from there. I know I had one of my dogs neutered at one point, and it was the best thing we did because he was really uncomfortable. He was unsightly, to say the least. And I've got to be honest with you, I'm going to be as candid as I can be when it comes to these party animal segments. I did the little routine when I dropped him off. He was scheduled for a few hours later, and I said, let my man have some fun in the other room with some of the girl dogs before you go in there. And, of course, they're like, you want him to knock up 3 or 4 of our female pets right now before he has the incision. That's really not protocol. And you're just standing there thinking, I was just doing some stand-up. I don't know why. There's a gravitational pull of some sort for me to do a bad routine out here in the lobby. But nonetheless, there is something like that goes on. Spaying, neutering, we all know how important it is. But even more important, Ixnay, the stand-up comedy, boys. I'm Vinny Penn, Party Animal, Animal Radio.
It's Animal Radio, you lucky devil, 1-866-405-8405. We're celebrating our connection with our pets as we do every weekend. Thanks for joining us. If you're new, check us out at animalradio.com. Call us. If you have a question, especially, here's how it breaks down. We have Vinny Penn. He's kind of the smart aleck around here. Then we have Dr. Debbie. She's answering your questions, and today she has a little help. We'll find out about that in just a second. Vlade, the world-famous Russian dog wizard, getting in place to answer your dog behavior questions. Joy Turner, animal communicator. It's a whole dream team here for you to celebrate our pets. I see you have a little help today, and this is Ashley?
It's Ashley, yeah.
Hi, Ashley. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Now, you're helping Aunt Debbie out today? What do you do? Does she let you do any procedures there, or you just get to watch?
I usually get to watch.
And do you want to be a vet when you grow up?
Yeah.
How much school is that?
Usually about 6 to 8 years of, further studies after high school and college and all that. So yeah, and I've been working on Ashley. She was working on her homework this weekend, so it's not all fun. We make her do her studies as well.
Now, I understand. Oh, we're going to go to line 2? Okay. We were going on over to line 2, and I believe is it Bob we have on the phone?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Pretty good.
You're on with Dr. Debbie.
Hey, Doc, how you doing?
Well, hi, I'm great. How are you today?
Oh, pretty good. I got a question for you. I got a AKC Golden Retriever. When he was born, he's got a knot in the back of his head. I guess they're born with it, but is that normal?
Well, it kind of depends. Now, is the knot, if you're looking at his head, is it at the very center of his skull, or is it more like a little bit to the back?
Oh, it's toward the back center.
There is a natural knob, a little protuberance off of the back of the dog's head. In some breeds, it'll be a little bit more prominent than others. It's actually got a wonderful name. It's called the occipital protuberance. It's a great word.
Wow.
But basically, it's the part of the bone, the occipital bone in the back, that is a little bit kind of stuck out. And we see it a little bit more prominent in dogs like retrievers, in pointers sometimes. I've even had some Weimaraners where it's a little bit more, it just kind of sticks out there.
So it's normal.
And it is a natural, just kind of a little bump they get. On occasion, I have seen some young dogs, particularly, where they'll actually get a type of almost like a blister on their head. And it is a result, it's more of what we call a seroma. And that's more a result of a dog, maybe bopping their head on the table and just kind of getting goofy. And that can stick around for quite a while. But that is more, starts off small and it starts off soft. And then with time it regresses and goes away. I think what you're describing sounds more like just that natural little kind of smart bump on the back of the head.
Okay, well, one other question is, where do you get that book you guys were talking about earlier about that vet wrote?
Oh, Speaking for Spot, Dr. Nancy Kay, and you can head on over to any bookstore, Borders, Barnes & Noble. It's a good book to help you pick a vet. If you can't have Dr. Debbie as your vet, that'll help you pick.
That's the one that has the thing about vet insurance and all that stuff?
All of that information. It's a good book. Check it out.
I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for calling today, Bob.
All right. Thank you very much.
1-866-405-8405.
This is Animal Radio
Network.